and my troopers hopping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers hopping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers.
Well, that just happened. Yeah. Hi, my name is Mr. J3T, aka Big Sexy, aka the Kentucky Cannon, aka the World Class Badass, aka Chocolate Thunder with a Caramel Swirl, aka Black Lightning with the Peanut Butter Filling, aka DJ Big Head because I got a big head and I'm a DJ by association, aka... Guys, the man. I am officially the man because I just turned 20 a few days ago. So yeah, I am officially the man now. And today, we're here to talk about Invincible, episode 8. So, this is the final episode of season 1. The show already got picked up for season 2 and season 3. So, yeah, this is the ending of season 1, and I'm here to talk about it. Also, I'm gonna be getting a little spoilery. So, if you haven't watched this episode yet, click off now. Or if you don't care about spoilers, continue watching. Okay, so this episode starts off where the last one left off, and Nolan is basically telling Omni-Man, is telling Mark, Invincible, about where he actually comes from, and what the Viltrumites actually are. And it's like basically they take over planets. Basically, they're bad people. There's some bad people that take over planets. Obviously, Mark is like, what? Nolan is trying to get Mark on his side, and obviously Mark is like, yeah, no, screw that, and screw you. I'm not gonna let you do this. And they proceed to have, I don't really know how to describe it. See, because I wouldn't really describe it as a fight. It was more like a one-sided beatdown. Do you know, it's like Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, and I believe it was SummerSlam 2016. That match where Brock absolutely just destroys John Cena, and John gets some licks in, gets some offense in, but overall Brock dominates John and beats him from pillar to post, and then beats John to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This is basically that match, but like a million times worse. A million times, like, on a whole level of worseness than that. Because, God, I was just sitting here on the edge of my seat, honestly. Like, my heart was pounding, like, and I already knew what was going to happen because I read the comic. So I knew that this was going to happen, but I was still felt that tension, you know, and that sense of dread of just knowing what's about to happen to Mark and the absolute beating he's about to take by his own father. And this is the same exact feeling that I had when I watched the first episode where Nolan killed the OG Guardians of the Globe. This is the same exact feeling that I had on that episode. Just this one, I don't know, it just felt worse because, yeah, I already had to read it, and now I saw it in motion. I saw it in motion, and having actor people say the lines, like, word for word said lines from the comic, and I felt that, man. I felt it. And I just felt so bad for Mark. Like, he's trying so hard, but Nolan, being the OP guy that he is just constantly beating his own son. And not only is he beating him, he's also using Mark to kill other humans, because this is something that I like, and about this show is that it doesn't stray away from violence, and it doesn't stray away from showing us the casualties of these superpowered beings fighting each other. It shows us the casualties. In the comics, whenever Mark and Nolan fight, we don't really see people die. We hear about people dying, but we don't see them actually die. But in this show, in this particular fight, yeah, like we saw people die. We saw people get crushed by buildings. There's one particularly dark moment where Mark is trying to lift up a falling building, right? And he has a hold of the mom, and he's trying to get the kid, reassure the kid that she's going to be fine, but then the building falls, and Mark gets out of the rubble, and he just has his arm, right? And I'm just like, oh, damn it. Oh, no. Oh, no. And then Mark looks down, and it's just the arm. Oh, man. Oh, God, that one got me. Oh, that sucked. That just really sucked. I really felt bad for Mark in this episode. I felt more bad for him than I did in the comics. Like, I still felt bad for Mark in the comics, but it just feels like the events that happened in this are just way, way worse. Like, don't get me wrong, what happened, this whole fight in the comics is bad, but it just feels like this was just 10 times worse. Oh my god. Oh. So yeah, and all the meanwhile, Nolan is trying to convince Mark to, like, look, these humans are meaningless. They are fragile. You will outlive them. Let the Viltrumites take this planet over so we can help them. He's just constantly trying to convince Mark that this is the right thing. And I feel like he's also trying to convince himself, that what he's doing is right. That this is the right thing. You can definitely hear he's a little conflicted, and props to J.K. Simmons, because he acted the hell out of this particular episode. He's been doing great so far. He's been doing great before, but in this particular episode, he really acted the hell out of this. In fact, everybody did a great job. Steven Yeun, he did a great job too. Sandra Oh, who plays Debbie, Mark's mom and Nolan's wife, she did a great job. Everybody just did a great job. Everybody put on their acting boots and really acted the hell out of this episode. And that's great. Good job, guys. You did a great job. But yeah, I feel like Nolan was just trying to convince himself too that what he's doing is the right thing, that this is right, and this is his goal, his main goal, trying to convince himself, But in the end, he eventually gets a little flashback to when Debbie's basically telling him what it's like to be human and humanity and all that. And Mark is younger. They're at a baseball game, and Nolan is like, why am I here? This is a waste of time. But as Debbie's telling him this, he slowly starts to loosen up, and he starts to, get into the game. Like, come on, Mark, you can do it, yeah. And that was just really sad. Yeah, because he's remembering the good times of how things used to be. That moment was really, really sad. And again, J.K. Simmons did an awesome job, because he is screaming. You can feel that rage. What will you have in 500 years? Like, yeah, that is just really, oh, yeah. This is like the best episode of Invincible, the series of this season 1 so far. Like, this is like by far like the best episode, because a lot of stuff happens. The whole show has been building up to this moment, and they didn't disappoint. This episode delivers on all fronts. So, yes, overall I really like this episode. The animation was great. I didn't really see any real mistakes or issues. I gotta talk about one flaw that I have with this show, though, and that's with a character named Amber. So, Amber is the love interest of Mark, right? In the last episode, as Mark left to go fight off these cyborg reanimen, I believe they're called, he goes to save people on this college campus, right, and fight off this reaniman from killing William. And then when he comes back, William being Mark's best friend, by the way, and when he comes back, she goes off on him and accuses him for being a coward, right? But when they get home, Amber reveals that she knows that Mark was invincible, and she still went off on him. So, yeah, like, what? You're sitting here yelling at him when you knew that he was invincible, and you knew he was out saving lives, and you're still giving him a hard time. You're not giving him any sort of benefit of the doubt. You're not giving him the benefit of the doubt, like, he's a goddamn superhero, you know? I mean, yeah, sure, was lying to you, but again, like, you guys have been dating for like 5 months. Why would he tell you his secret identity to a person that he's only been dating for 5 months? Like, it's not enough time, you know? I don't trust you yet. I don't trust you like that right now. Like, back off, Amber. So, yeah, as soon as their whole fight with Mark and Nolan was getting filmed, and Amber was watching this, I could pretty much already tell what was gonna happen. Amber was gonna come back and basically apologize to him, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were gonna go through all that. I apologize. I'm sorry." And it's like, and that's pretty much exactly what happens. Like, as soon as Mark recovers from his ass beating, from getting clapped by his own dad, sure enough, Amber is right there. The first person to see him, actually, I think. Yeah, she was the first person to see him. She's right there. "Are you okay?" She kisses him on the mouth, on the lips. She's like, "Are you okay? I'm sorry." And it's like, alright, yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't really like that whole part. I liked Amber more in the comics, and the way she took the reveal of Mark being invincible more in the comics. I think that was done better, because comic book Amber, she was more reasonable and more understandable. So I liked comic book Amber's reaction to Mark being invincible better. I think they could have done that better in the show. Yeah, that's just a part that I didn't really like that much. But overall, I really like this episode. We get to see the Guardians of the Globe, the new Guardians of the Globe, Rexplode, Robot, or Rudy, as he's now known, Monster Girl, Duplicate, all of them, Black Samson, all of them. We get to see them. We started to see them work well as a team in previous episodes, but this one, you know, they're more comfortable around each other now. They're actually working together as a team. Cecil tells them to just stay put until he tells them to, but after seeing all the damage, they're just like, nah, screw that. We're just gonna go save some people now. So, yeah, it was cool to see them work as a team more, see them get along more. it was cool to see. It was satisfying to see that, because previous episodes, they've kind of been at each other's necks, not working together as a team. So it was satisfying to see them work together, you know, be nice and cool with each other. And it was also cool to see Rexplode become a decent person. He's on his way to becoming a decent guy, because he had that exact same arc in the comics, where he starts off as a douche asshole guy, and he slowly just becomes a better, decent guy. And I think we're starting to see that now in this episode and some previous episodes too. We're starting to see him. He's on his way to becoming a less of an asshole and more of a likable asshole. He's still an asshole, but he's likable now. He's enduring. He's a decent asshole. Yeah. So I like this. It's cool to see that we're getting that with Rexplode. Also, I need to point this out. When Nolan is telling Mark about what the Viltrumites actually are and what the Viltrumites actually do, we get a few flashbacks of Viltrumites killing the weak, because that's their whole thing. The Viltrumites, they killed all the weak Viltrumites, and only the strongest are left, and they wanted to expand their empire. So only the strongest are left, and we get a quick glance of Conquest. And if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know who Conquest is. We get Conquest pre-mechanical arm, pre-messed up eye. Ooh. This episode set up Conquest. And we're getting to season 2 and a season 3. So we're one step closer to getting that fight between Conquest and Mark. And oh, my body is ready. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out real quick. We get a quick shot of Conquest and some other Viltrumites that we'll see. Also, I would tell you guys where Nolan ends up, because he doesn't kill Mark, obviously. He just flies up and he basically leaves off planet. He abandons his post. Now, I could tell you guys where Nolan goes, but I'm not going to. So you guys are gonna have to read the comics if you want to know where he ends up. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You gotta read. So yeah, overall, I really like this episode, and I really like this season. We got some more spotlight on Titan, he starts off as like a little as an underling, as basically like how do you pronounce that? What's the word I'm looking for? A hitman, pretty much a lackey of this basically crime boss called Machine Head, and we see him overthrow Machine Head and become the new boss, the new crime lord, or whatever. But he has good intentions. He's actually trying to help out the community, his community, and his family. So it's cool to see that he got an episode that follows him, that follows his endeavors and how he became this big crime lord. And because Titan was one of my favorite characters in this. He was one of my favorite minor characters, and hopefully in season 2 and season 3 we get to see more of him, and hopefully we'll get to hear more of Mahershala Ali voicing Titan, because Mahershala Ali voices Titan in this show, and that man's voice is immaculate. So yeah, he also does a great job too. Everybody does a great job with their characters. Yeah, I already said that before, but I'm saying it again. It's worth repeating. Everybody does great. I just really liked this episode, and I really liked this show overall. It has some things that I didn't really agree with. That whole thing with Amber that I pointed out, and William. He had more of a slow reveal with him being gay in the comics, but in this show he's just like, from like the first frame we see him in, he's just, you can tell he's already gay, and he already knows he's gay. He already accepted that. So I didn't like that. I wish we could have got more of that slow reveal. But despite some of the things that I don't like about this show, the positives outweigh the negatives. The animation's great. The show doesn't diverge from the comics that much. The soundtrack's great. The fights are awesome and gory and bloody. And this is a really good show. And I'm very excited for season 2 and 3. At the end of this, we get this. Near the end, we get to see Alan the Alien, and Alan the Alien being an agent for this organization called the Planet of Coalitions. He's basically coming to Earth to warn everybody that Viltrumite's there, but Mark fills him in, and as they're talking, he's like, what are you going to do now? What's the plan? And we see all of these different things ripped straight out of the comics. Like, we get to see the Mahler twins going back to prison. You already know they're planning something. We see Doc Seismic in, like, the center of the Earth with all of these mutant lava creatures. They're setting that up. We're seeing Cecil with a bunch of Reanimen. They're setting that up. They're setting a whole bunch of stuff up, and it's cool to see that they're just setting all of this stuff up for season 2 and 3. So that was cool to see, and it's cool to see Alan the Alien again, voiced by Seth Rogen. We only got to see him once in this show, once prior in the show, and we got to see him again here, and he's definitely going to get more spotlight soon, because Alan, let me tell you, Alan the Alien is the goddamn MVP in the comics. He is the GOAT in the comic books. Like, he starts off, he's cool, he's a jokester, he seems like he's going to be the comic relief character, but he evolves into the goddamn GOAT, and I love him for it. Alan is one of my favorites in the comic book. So he's definitely going to get more spotlight in the seasons to come. This episode also sets up Debbie as an alcoholic. We've already seen shots of her drinking wine and everything, but this episode she's gonna go full alcoholic, because after the whole fight between Nolan and Mark, Debbie goes into this big depression, starts drinking a lot, and now it looks like we're gonna get that in this show, because she goes to visit Nolan's costume maker, whose name escapes me at the moment. His name escapes me at the moment, but he's a costume tailor for superheroes, and she just says, pour me a glass. He says, I only have one, and she says, I don't care, pour me a glass. So yeah, she's definitely going to be an alcoholic in the next season. We're going to see her work through that, so that's cool. It's not cool for her. It's not cool that she has alcoholism. Like, don't get it twisted. Now, I'm not saying it's great for a person to be alcoholic. I'm just saying it's, you know, it's cool that they're following that storyline, you know. Yeah, don't get it twisted now. I'm not supporting alcoholism. Don't. There are better ways to handle your pain and your stress, kids. Don't be alcoholic. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, to my mini little TED Talk. But overall, I really, really liked this episode, and I really liked this season in general. It didn't diverge from the comics too much. It follows the comics pretty damn well, pretty damn closely. The positives greatly outweigh the negatives for me, and I highly recommend you watch this show. I give it 2 thumbs up with a big old J3T stamp of approval, because this show is worth it. I highly recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime right now, so go watch it. Go watch it. I do have to say, though, that this show is not for kids, so no kiddos. They may get traumatized. No kiddos. There's blood, and the characters swear a lot, which is something I forgot to mention in my last video about Invincible. The show, they actually let their characters swear, like say shit and fuck and all that, because in the comic books there was this whole thing where the characters, they would say like, oh crap, nuggets, and all that stuff, and I think there was only one F-bomb in the comic books, which is crazy because this is the same guy that wrote The Walking Dead, where the characters, every other word out of their mouth that comes out of their mouths is a swear word. So that is some huge restraint on Robert Kirkman's part to only give us one F-bomb throughout the entire Invincible comic series. To only drop one F-bomb, that is some huge restraint on Robert Kirkman's part. But in this show, they just threw all that out, and they're fully letting the characters swear, which is cool because in these situations these characters would swear. So yeah, it's cool. I like that detail, you know. But all in all, I highly recommend this. This is truly like one of the best comic book adaptations that I've seen. Animation's great, the fights are great, the acting's great. Everything is just great, aside from those few other things that I have problems with. And yes, I recommend it. 2 thumbs up, J3T stamp of approval. Go watch it! Okay? Yeah. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. But if you really like me, if you really like me though, consider subscribing, you know, because it's free. And also, you can ring that bell so you always know whenever I upload, because it's free. Don't be a dum-dum. Stop being a dum-dum and subscribe already. Jeez, God. Deuces. Jeez.